is sharing. Sharing is much more important than protecting all your ideas, and it changes everything in the way we communicate, the way we know people across countries, through the entire world. Language matter less, countries matter less. It changes also the entire game in entrepreneurship. And it's an entirely new world that I think video will be a very, very big and interactive way player that has not happened yet as well. Sharing is much more important than anything else. It keeps you stay in touch with your community, and the number one asset everybody has, but many people don't know, is the community. Well, sharing is actually a lot like open source. I feel like I'm open sourcing myself all day long, clearly. Yes, I have 10,000 people on Twitter, for example, that I talk to all day long. I follow them, they follow me. Those 10,000 people, we're a community that could be seen as an open source. We're all open sourcing ourselves to that community. And it's very similar to open source. Clearly it is, because everybody realizes that it's sharing. So what's new with open source, what's new with the open source image is that clearly anybody can do it. It used to be more for geeks or for scientists, right? For engineers. Now anybody can open source itself with social software. You used to be okay to wait for a mail, and now you want it now. You want to be with your friends all day long. I think it's a big, big trend. Instant and what we call microblogging are very, very important. So why? Just because since the beginning of social software, we got used to get new types of friendship, get people we didn't know, get people from far away, from other languages. Now what we are learning is to live with them all day long. So whether it is through text, through mobile texting, through photo, pictures, through video, it's all the same. It's all about being all day long with the friends. What it changes is everything. At least for me, it has already changed the way I think, because I feel like in a room which is across the world, and I can just call a friend and there will always be someone to answer one of my questions, as long as I share as well with them. It's two ways, right? And so it's about living in a world with a community that can help you. For me, it has become the most important thing in my life after my family, is to be in constant touch with my friends on Twitter, on Seesmic, on FriendFeed, on Facebook, on all the tools we use. And it changed me completely. I cannot think alone anymore. I need to think with my friends all the time. So like as an entrepreneur, for example, I share my ideas all day long. If I screw up, which happens often, I get it. My friends tell me, this is wrong, you shouldn't do this, do it differently. And I listen and I correct myself immediately. In the old world, you would not listen that much. You didn't have the means to listen. So you would just do something. Like think about like marketing a new company. You launch it, and you do advertising and so on, but then you don't get any feedback, so you don't know you screwed up in a way, or they don't like your product. So social software is very tough to embrace for large corporations and for governments, just because they think in a way which is really formatted. Like, say you want to launch a product, you do it very secret. You don't tell anybody. You do market research. You get maybe a sample. You train a small city. You see what you get, and then you prepare a big launch and a huge advertising campaign, right? And if you fail like in a big, big way. That's the old way of doing it. The new way of doing it is getting feedback since the very, very beginning. But that means that sharing, you can get competition that will see this. And that's a totally different way of thinking. Also, the marketing doesn't come from advertising. It will come from the word of mouth. And so it's entirely different. I'm sure any large organization who would apply this way of thinking, so gather a community. If you have a brand, you already have a community. You're just not talking to it the way we do talk with communities. It's both ways, and letting everything out, including every criticism, for example, and answering each of them in public. Very tough for large organizations. If you start doing this, you're going to have a clear advantage to the competition. That's obvious to me, because you get so much feedback that you can only do a better product. Now the challenge is all your competitors will see it as well, so you have to be ready to execute and run as fast as your community expects, otherwise you're done, obviously. But it's a great motivation to have. It's just a different way of thinking.